welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another reaction to an old video of mine that I haven't watched for years and years, but this one in particular I thought would be fun because it is my most viewed video, the most popular video that I have on the channel. Oh my god, that's almost 10 years ago. It was pretty much one of the first videos I ever put up. Well, sort of. There was a lot of videos that I deleted as a kid. I don't know why I did it. It'll be interesting to sort of address some of the stuff that people brought up and talk about how this video has affected the rest of my channel, because this video itself is the reason why my demographics are a bit unusual to compare to like another British YouTuber. I've got quite a big American following due to this video, and a lot of my other videos that did well were based around an American topic. Speaking of, if this is interesting enough, I might react to a few other of my most watched videos, mainly because that will probably be how a lot of you guys stumbled across my channel in the first place and know who I am. I'm either known as a British girl who's interested in American culture. I used to be wildly interested for some reason, I don't know where that came from. And the other thing is the girl with red hair. And it's because of my two most watched videos. A whole decade almost of my life has been documented. It's like having an online diary. It's amazing. I recommend it fully in whatever form. Just document stuff all the time. You won't ever regret it. I didn't plan things as much then. Like, I literally just whacked on the camera and just chatted absolute shite, which I do miss doing, to be fair, but it means that you end up saying stuff like I was saying in this video, which did have a bit of a backlash, because if you look at the thumbs up to thumbs down ratio, 4.5 thousand people did not like this video enough to give it a... But that's okay. I was saying basically my thoughts on American culture and American people, and the inspiration for this video came from me meeting my auntie who lived in America. I never told her that I made this video about her. I wonder what she'd say if she was to find out and watch this video. The reason why I haven't told her is because I say some stuff in this video which I thought was normal and fine. Even my mum thought like the stuff I said in it was like fine, and she got where I was coming from, but a lot of people who watched this video were like, this is not nice, this is rude. It's gonna be embarrassing for me to put this online again, basically. Like, I hate when people stumble across this video. It's probably the video I'm most embarrassed about, and it's done the best. So I pretend it doesn't exist, and now I'm just bringing it back up to the surface again, so it's my own fault. But I think it would be interesting to talk about, so let's just shut up and talk about it. I'm procrastinating pressing play. I literally got a stomachache. I feel that nervous.
Today I went to go see my auntie. Why is this story exciting?
Oh, okay, so back then YouTube was very like dramatic. Well, the YouTubers I watched, which were mostly Americans, were very animated and expressive, and British people aren't like that. We're very subtle. I love British culture way more than I do American. But I used to be obsessed with it, and I used to be obsessed with American humor and American YouTubers, so I would like mimic the people I watched, and they were very like, they would talk like from the left side of the screen and then appear on the right side of the screen and then cut. Have all these like weird narratives where they'll be talking to themselves, and it was very theatrical the way people vlogged back then.
Basically, my auntie is American. Cool, right? I wish I was American like my auntie. It's kind of cool when she comes down.
This is why I hate this video so much, because I'm like putting on this weird character, but at the same time that was my humor then. Like, I don't know, I was just over the top.
It's kind of cool when she comes down, because it's like, hi auntie, how's it going? Oh yeah, peace. I don't do that, but it just seemed appropriate at the time when I made this video. So basically I just wanted to share.
Me saying stuff like that is me just like processing the next thing I want to say, so I kind of stall that moment from happening by like putting some filler in that's supposed to be funny.
So basically I just wanted to share my thoughts and feelings with you guys on Americans in the big wide world of real life. So if you
okay, that's quite funny. That's funny to me because, see, a lot of people watching this video I don't think really took into account that it's a very different feeling talking and interacting with an American as it is watching one on TV or in a TV show or on YouTube. Like, I was this kid who watched American YouTubers all the time, every day, and saw them on TV and films, and then when you interact with one in person, it's a very different dynamic. As soon as you're chatting to someone with a thick accent, suddenly you just become very aware of your own accent, aware of their accent, and you realize how different you are as people. And so that's why I worded it like in real life, because it is almost like meeting someone who you only usually see on TV and film. I don't know whether in America it's the same thing, like when a British person comes over, it's like exciting. In fact, no, I know it is for a lot of Americans, because when I went to the US, Americans would pick up on my accent and go crazy, and like the kids would like follow me around and stuff. Suddenly that like Hollywood wall like comes down, and it's like, oh my god, like we are interacting with this accent that we don't usually hear, and it's just exciting. It still is. Like when I hear an American, I know that's an accent I don't hear very often around here.
So if you live on the internet like I do, you obviously know that Americans are everywhere, like left, right and centre. But when you come across them, it's alien to you. When you're watching someone vlog on the YouTubes, ew, that's what my mum calls it. When you watch someone vlog on YouTube
True.
and you're just like listening to them, you don't even think anything of it. You're just like, oh, it's someone vlogging, yeah? That's what we all do, right? But no, when you're sitting next to one in real life, it's like, that's meant.
Oh my god. The thing is, I still stand by these things. I would just say them completely differently. Like, I'm watching them when I'm talking and it's making me want to cry because it's so cringy. I'm talking really expressively. I remember the day I dropped that kind of act, not even an act, but that sense of humour, I guess. It was because a lot of my friends were bringing up the fact I talk like this online, and then in person I'm like, hi, you're right. And I started getting really embarrassed about the fact people could tell there was a difference online, and I really wanted to like be authentic. Like I wanted to be that YouTuber who was like genuine and the exact same in person as I am on camera. So I dropped that one day, and I found it really hard to drop that like easygoing, outgoing persona, I guess is the word, because it was like fun to have a separate world to what I am in person, which is very shy and quiet and not expressive. I had an outlet online to do that, so that's why I'm talking like that, but I don't do that anymore, obviously.
That's meant to be, it's really obvious, not they talk gibberish. And don't get me wrong, I repeat, I do not think that Americans are stupid. However, automatically in my brain,
this is why I got so much crap, this bit I'm about to say now. Like, I do not think Americans are stupid. However, automatically in my brain, they become stupid. And when I say this, I mean I have to be cautious with what I say, as if I'm talking to a child. Please take note, I'm very weird. I don't think every British person does this, but I do this because I'm just a strange person and I'm sharing my thoughts to the camera because I have no friends. But what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to have a simple conversation with my auntie who is American, and yes, she's cool, but suddenly she's just stupid. no wonder people hated me. If you stop the video there, I look like an absolute arsehole. So if you were to hear that bit, you would probably run into the comment section and give me loads of shit. If you're not going to hear out what I'm talking about, I can understand that. I think a lot of people didn't watch the rest of the video, and I'm saying over and over again, I don't think that's stupid. My brain just tries to slow down the things I'm saying so that it's understood from an American perspective, because a lot of the time I was like chatting away to my auntie and she wouldn't understand like a slang word that I used, or wouldn't get like an expression that I said. I think British people are just very subtle and monotone, so like an American might see that as me being down or me being off or funny, or you know, sarcasm might not be as prominent in America. So if I'm being sarcastic, they might take what I'm saying literally and run with it. Like if I'm joking about something, they'll be like, oh okay, so she meant that, and then like literally go and do the thing that I've joked about.
I'm thinking about what I'm about to say just before I say it, because I'm like, will she know what I'm trying to say? Will she understand this? Do they know this in America? Does she understand what that means? Is this word British that I'm about to say? Will she understand what the hell I'm going on about? Will she look at me funny and be like, what? And then I have to explain it?
Literally, that is all on me. Like, that's my anxiety saying she might understand what I'm about to say. I get that anyway, even if I'm talking to like my neighbour who will understand me and isn't American. I still overthink everything I say and do. That's just the way I am. That's like an anxiety thing. So if you put me next to someone with a very different way of living or a different accent or a different... I mean, when I moved up north, like, I'm having to overthink stuff I say, and I wonder if that's a northern slang or like southern slang, like will they get that? And I do it anyway. But this is me as a kid discovering I'm socially anxious. This is me as a kid discovering that I'm awkward around people who aren't like me. I had some outlet that I could express these thoughts on that would usually just linger in the back of my brain and then soon develop into, oh wait, yeah, that's just the way I am around people and I'm a socially anxious person and that's okay. But I had a place to put it online, and that was probably not the best thing because it probably offended a lot of people. You need to bear in mind, like, when people make things online, you have to look at the date and not think that person is the same as they were 10 years ago. Like, they learn things, they develop things. This is me discovering stuff and putting it online, and now I can look back and say, wow, look, like, this was me learning this new thing about myself. Does that make sense?
You send messages to Americans all over the world every day. You get put next to one and you are a social reject. Another thing I had to laugh about myself when I came across this whole situation was when a American word got put into our conversation, such as when she's talking about something and then she just slips in the word dollar. She said dollar. We don't say dollar over here, we say pound.
Yeah, I think I would still literally do that now, to be fair. But I had loads of American friends as well, but like when you're texting them, messaging them, you forget actually in person you'd be very different around them, because maybe it's just a me thing and I'm just dramatic.
Another little thing you should know about me is that I'm not a very clever person. I don't even know much about Britain, let alone America. So I'm not very wise on either topics. Fantastic, because both of them will get brought into your conversation with an American. They will either
God, like, I'm really sarcastic. Like, I didn't realise how sarcastic I used to be as a kid. And that doesn't mix well with American humour, I don't think. So maybe if there were a lot of Americans watching this, they might be like, eh? Like, it doesn't translate as well, I feel like, maybe. I'd love to know people's thoughts on this, if I'm overthinking anything, or if I still don't make sense, or if I do make sense now, or if you knew me from this video, like, do you understand it a bit more now I'm explaining it? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comment section, please. And if you enjoy also these reaction videos where I react to old videos, because I've done a few now and I'll try and link them around the video somewhere, give me a thumbs up so I know to make these, because it's fun to look back. Not many people can do this.
They will either ask you questions about Britain, because they want to know, because you will know the most about Britain, because you're British, right? Or they will discuss about America. Yeah, you know, America does this and this. Yeah, we're doing that next year, yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about. So can you just talk about something which I will know?
It's because I was watching my mum and my dad talk to her about like British stuff, like history and events and stuff, and then she would chip in about America and American events, and they're like, oh my god, yeah, that's crazy. And I'm just there like, what the frick? But once again, I'm a kid. I don't know these things. I still probably wouldn't know a lot about America, but I sure would know a lot more now than I did.
The really cool thing I found about talking to an American is the fact that when you talk to them, like, face to face, their replies are always awesome. They give you, like, really cool replies. Hi, I'm doing awesome! Yeah, how are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Everything's more enthusiastic.
I didn't explain that very well, but I think what I'm saying is they never go half-assed in a conversation. Like, you ask them one simple question and they're like upbeat, they're raring to go. I don't know if it's a facade, like a persona, or they're genuinely like that, but their energy is always very high. A lot of people watching this who are American probably are like, no, Ellie, you need to live here to realise not everyone's like that. Even Disneyland Paris, there is a lot of Americans there, and like, they're all so enthusiastic. I'm like, oh my god. Whereas customer service and stuff here in this country, you're in a shop and then you're like talking to someone behind the till and they're just like, hi, bye. I fully understand why you won't want to be like that 24/7. Like,
yeah, that was just my general thought on Americans. I love you all. Right, I'll come to a conclusion here. I am socially awkward towards other people.
Oh my god, that's literally what I was just saying. I discovered that out loud and I actually mentioned that. There we go. That's the video in a nutshell, really. I'm just discovering myself. Poor little Ellie here, discovering that, has no idea what that's gonna mean to her for the rest of her life. Like, I've never got over that. I've never become confident overnight or worked on my social anxiety at all. Like, it has improved a little bit, but I feel like confidence comes with age, and that's maybe the only area where it has improved because of the fact I've gotten a bit older. But
okay, so now that I've wasted a few minutes of your time, we have now entered to the update part of the video. I've just come back from the burnings of the clocks.
whoa, okay, right. So I think I used to do like little skits and like fun things at the beginning of the video, and then I'd maybe have an update at the end, I think is what's going on here. This was also around the time when YouTube videos were on average about 5 minutes long. That was like the golden time, and now I'm making like 25, sometimes 40 bloody minute long videos. It's weird how that's changed. Burning of the Clocks is a event that happens in Brighton. It's like a ceremony thing represented, I've forgotten, you know, I haven't been for so many years. A ceremony based around the time, like the seasons changing between winter and summer, or summer and winter. Do you know, I can't remember, but they basically burn these huge paper mache clocks. And I think that was where I met up with my auntie and where we were chatting and talking. It was at this event, so I don't think she's in any of the footage. Whoa.
The Burnings of the Clocks is an event that happens in the lovely land of Brighton, and it's basically where they burn big tissue paper. How exciting! And then people dance with fire in their hands, and they just dance because they can.
I feel like YouTube back then was so random, like things weren't really explained, everything was very like quick and slapdash, and like you didn't want to waste anyone's time. And then I feel like things went a lot slower, slow paced, and then now things have gone back to quick again because of movements like TikTok making everyone's attention span so tiny.
Yesterday my house actually started looking Christmassy.
Aww.
And my mum and dad held a Christmas party.
Aww.
And the bells were ringing out for Christmas Day. You cheap lousy faggots.
Ooh.
Well, so can anyone.
I'm so loud. It's weird because like I was shy and I'm still shy and still quiet. But like around my family I was freaking loud. Like I don't even know if I would do that now. They must have thought I was so annoying.
Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. What was that? I was just trying to say Christmas. Happy New Year. I've got lipstick on. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Vicky's hair looks so cute there, I'm not gonna lie.
You're a hoe. Basically, I've dyed my hair. Oh my god.
Oh, and my hair looks horrendous. Like I've got the massive like back comb scene hair at the top, but like nothing down here.
If you want to hear from me before Christmas, maybe, make sure you like my Facebook page, because I will be like doing updates like, yo, Merry Christmas, bitches.
Oh.
See you soon, and I love you. Thanks for all the support you guys have given me recently. I wish I could tell you guys how much I really love you. Bye.
That little Christmas party I was talking about, obviously I'm just filming like the bit before everyone started arriving because I wasn't going to start putting a camera in people's faces. It's been almost 10 years of me dragging her into videos. She's probably really glad that I moved far, far away from her. So I'm going to have a look at the top comments for this video because this is where the interesting part happens. I actually agree with you, John. Looking back, ironically, you behave just like a typical American teenage girl, except with an English accent. Yeah, and someone's replied saying 95% of her shtick is learnt behaviour from Hollywood. I agree, and that's the ironic thing. It was like a kid looking through the eyes of a British person, but with the brain of someone who watches a lot of American TV. So I was sort of like in a weird kind of crossover between trying to understand American people, American humor and culture, learning from typical American teenage girl behavior, but then also not understanding it, so kind of rejecting it at the same time. I can't even put it into words. JDM says, I find this embarrassing as a British person. I apologise, we are not all like this. True. However, Wayne does say she's just a young girl, no big deal. That's what I would see. If I came across this video, like, I would just be like, oh, she's a little kid. Some of the stuff that people say, I'm like, have you thought about the fact, like, I was so little? Rachel McAdams' lover says, your aunt is probably thinking the same about you. I wouldn't deny that now, and I wouldn't deny that then. That was the point of the video, like, the kind of culture barrier between both. I wasn't just talking about me. My auntie probably was the same about her as well, because it's just a thing that you have to do when you're communicating with someone from a different upbringing or from a different area. Like, you just bear in mind the stuff that they might not like know or be aware of or whatever. I'm not going to read all of this because it's a big comment, and someone replied to the comment saying, Jesus Christ, just make your own book series already. She's basically saying stupid wasn't the best term to use because the British accent, depending on its dialect, is not always easy for Americans to automatically understand, as they're accustomed to the posh version of the accent, which is what we're mainly exposed to when we hear British actors, singers, politicians, etc. So when we hear regional dialects which are not as clear and concise, we don't always pick right up on it. For example, you may be trying to say the word love, but if your accent is a certain way, it sounds like loaf to us at times. This hardly makes us stupid. It simply means there's confusion when dealing with regional dialects. The thing is, like, all of these comments were just an adult version of what I was saying. Like, it's more like an explanation that you can put together when you're an adult, because I was a kid and I was still learning that, you know, Americans are only exposed to certain places in Britain, and saying the word stupid was just the first word that came to my mind, but like an adult might be able to think of other words they are aware of and know that fits the explanation better. Basically, she then says that I'm lacking intelligence because I find the word dollar funny. I never knocked American words or slang or the accent. Like, there wasn't anything about it where I was like, how dare you use the word dollar, or why are you using that word, it's stupid. It's just different. Like, it's something that you never ever hear. So when you see someone using it very casually and like in general terms, they just like drop it into the conversation, it's like, it's interesting. The same way as when, like, living up north, I'm still learning new slang words, and I see someone drop it in a conversation, I find that so interesting. I just look at them for ages like, oh my god, you just used that word so casually, and I've never heard that word in my life. And they only live like 6 hours up the freaking country from me, and it's a word that I've never ever heard before. And she says that herself. She's saying, like, even Americans, they can go to different states and they will struggle to understand themselves and like their own American people sometimes. And I would agree. Like, it's just interesting how, I guess, if you don't communicate things well enough or without enough context, people will end up commenting stuff that you also agree with, but they just assume that you don't agree with it because you haven't mentioned it in that specific video. Interesting, the ironic thing, she's ended the comment by saying, point being, we're two different countries. These differences don't make either one of us stupid, nor do you have to feel like you're speaking to a child. Although at this moment, I should probably remind myself that's exactly what I'm doing via this comment. So she's calling me stupid? If you take away the digs and like the aggressive tone that's like underneath that comment, the comment is literally informative. Like, it makes sense. I agree with it, and I would have then. But it's the aggressive tone, I'm just like, woo. I also agree with this. I don't find it very wise to base every American on your aunt. It was my only kind of comparison that I had. My aunt, like, travelled a lot, and she got to experience a lot of different cultures herself, so she would have found it very easy just to talk to someone who she knows anyway and is from the UK, which is where she used to live. But for me, she was the only thing I could compare to, like, a different culture. She was just too annoying to finish this video. Literally, once again, I agree. There's not many comments that I honestly would disagree with. Probably one of my favourite comments is this one, which kind of sums up what I'm saying really well. Wow, the salt is real in the comments. True. As a well-educated American with a sense of humour, all I have to say is, this pot calls our kettle black, which is basically like saying, to criticize someone for a fault which you also possess. I was also calling myself out for it, as well as the fact that other people probably think that when they see me. This comment says, I don't know why people have gotten so offended by this video. I'm an American, but honestly I think I would feel the same way with a British person. I understand 100% that you weren't saying Americans were stupid. You were saying that it feels that way because they're from another country. It's just a different experience. I feel you. That's the bottom line of the video. If I could go back in time and explain that a lot better, then I wish I could, because I wasn't aware of how many people were going to watch the video. If I knew how many people would see the video, I would do a better job of explaining, because I feel like it is an interesting topic to talk about. At the end of the day, like, culture differences, I find it really fascinating. And if I could like reach into my mind then and like dig out more of like the way I was thinking towards that culture barrier, like I think it would have made such a better, more interesting video, and it would have pissed a lot less people off and been a lot more interesting to a lot of people. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that here because I feel like I've waffled on enough about the same video. But I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, I might look at some of the other videos of mine that I feel like most of you have probably discovered me from and might find it interesting to see me discuss again. Let me know in the comments if you did discover me from this video, because I feel like a good majority of you did. Thanks for watching, and I will see you very soon. I'm on social media such as Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. I also have a tarot reading Facebook page if you want to join me on that. Bye!